Happy Sunday, everybody. And I can't believe I made it. This is I just got back from Texas live stream. And when I say I just got back from Texas, I don't think I have been in my house for an hour. And so we're going to talk a little bit today about the trip, about the things I saw, about the things we're going to continue to see. As always, you know me, I always start by seeing, am I really live? And it looks like I really am. So that's good. So, where do we start? Oh my goodness, what a week. First of all, I don't know if you can still hear it in my voice, but I had a terrible, I don't know if you'd call it a cold or what in the world it was. I'm still trying to get over it. Got on my throat, sore throat, hoarse throat, congestion. Today, my sinuses are now starting to drain out, but it's terrible. Bad cough. So if I start coughing during the live stream, I'm going to apologize up front, but I'm so sorry. But I'm going to continue anyway because I haven't done a live stream in 2 weeks, and maybe I can come back later and edit out the coughs. So, what happened this past week? Well, first of all, um, I flew out on Spirit Airlines. I have never flown at Spirit before. And it's one of those cut rate airlines. I wasn't sure. I thought, is this going to be something I'm going to be disappointed that I went ahead and did? But I took Spirit and I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't notice a significant difference. Now, I got the middle tier. Okay, they have, the regular peasant tier, and then they have something called the comfy class, which is what I was in. Then they have the big seat or something like that, which is sort of what you might consider their version of first class. Not really first class, just a bigger chair. You get, two per the size of a row, where it would normally be three the size of that same row. So, the nice thing about that comfy level is what they do is they block off the middle seat. So they have like a little tray there. It's locked in somehow. I don't know. But it's really nice because now you don't have that center person. So you're not wrestling with that, with the armrest and all that. I could stretch my legs out into the middle where another person would be. Now, I still like the aisle seat. A weird thing happened, and I don't know why. On my return flight, I flew into San Antonio from Fort Lauderdale. I'll talk about why I did that in a minute. But I had selected originally an aisle seat out, aisle seat back. When I checked in yesterday, my aisle seat was gone, and they had me on a window. Now, not so bad because you don't have that center person anyway, but I wanted my aisle seat. And I was a little disappointed that they took away my aisle seat without any explanation. Now, it wasn't that big a deal. I wasn't going to raise a stink. I didn't go up to the counter people and ask why, because I figured it was irrelevant. At this point, I wouldn't be able to get my seat back anyway, because all the seats were taken. There wasn't anything they were going to do about it anyway. But that did, um, I wouldn't say it bothered me. A little bit of an annoyance, maybe more confusion than anything. But overall, it was a good flight. So I have no complaint about Spirit Airlines. Now, why did I fly, living here in Naples, why did I fly out of Fort Lauderdale? Well, usually I'd fly out of either Fort Myers or maybe Punta Gorda. And Fort Myers Airport, I would say, is under 45 minutes from my house. Punta Gorda is maybe a little over an hour. Fort Lauderdale is going all the way across the state, and so it's about an hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours, depending on traffic, taking Alligator Alley. And, and then it's just a bigger airport, more congestion, all that. But I was able to get nonstop. Now, why did I fly into San Antonio? I was actually going to do a visit um, in Austin, and same thing, no direct flights. And direct flights are really worth it. They have value to me. So between cheaper flights and direct flights, that's why I flew out of Fort Lauderdale and into San Antonio. Now, it ended up being fortuitous because once I got into into San Antonio, those of you who may have been watching the videos I've been posting this week, I was able to go to the Riverwalk, which I always enjoy when I'm in San Antonio. One of my favorite things is that Riverwalk. It's beautiful, it's relaxing. One year I was there at Christmas time. I think I made a video of it. Um, if I did, I'll find it. And after this is all done, I'll link it below. But um, I hope you can tell I'm trying to suppress coughs here. So if my um, if my voice sounds wavering, that's why. And it isn't working very well, is it? But I always love going in that Riverwalk, and of course the history of the Alamo. How can you not love the Alamo, right? So it was kind of nice, and I was able to make that video. Then I moved up to Austin. Once in Austin, I was able to see, I would say, one of my very favorite strange, weird visits. I did it last time, oh God, years ago, at least 6 or 7 years ago. And that is the Museum of the Weird in Austin, right there on 6th Street. And I did a video, my favorite video out of this whole trip was that Museum of the Weird. Now, wasn't necessarily my favorite visit. My favorite visit, I think, was the Tiki bar that I went to. And the problem is, it was so dark that I wasn't able to get very much really good footage. Now, in editing, I apologize. This is really bad. In editing, I was um, I was able to bring up some of the light, but once I bring up brightness, everything gets more grainy. So I haven't released a video. I might have to do some real specialty editing on that one, and maybe even have to do a voiceover narration because the sound quality wasn't good either, and I'm very disappointed. Hey, Lisa. No, not feeling good at all. I'm a little embarrassed to be coughing throughout my live stream, but what can you do? I'll try to edit some of those out in post. This will go live, and then I think you can take live streams and do after the fact edits. I'll try to do it. But um, the the tiki room, what is it called now? I got to look that up again. I'm just going to look up Austin Tiki Bar. Tiki Yatsuya. That's what it's called. Tiki Yatsu. No, Tiki Tatsuya. Tatsuya. So, really great place. One of the best, most thoroughly um, designed tiki bars I've ever been to. It's not big, but every inch of that place was tiki. The ceilings, the walls, the underneath the bar where your knees would be where nobody even looks was perfectly decorated. They did a wonderful job. I'm sorry. They had fountains in there, or waterfalls rather. I mean, it was just beautiful. And I want to show you. This is going to be the first view. I was going to put this in the video if it ever gets edited, but I did bring a souvenir home from the Tiki Tatsuya. And I bought one of their signature tiki mugs. This is a big one. You can tell how big. Look, that thing's almost as big as my head. But this is it. Um, and I think it says it here. Tattoo. Um, down there. Manufactured by Tiki Farm, designed by Ross. And I think this is specially made for that Tiki bar. So that is my new Tiki mug. And how am I going to get that done? I I think that I'm going to find some way to get that video done. I know I have enough in there. I have the menu. I have some of the areas that I went around. Hi, Mike. Um, as I was recording, and some of it was awful dark, but I, used my low light and everything. I'll figure out a way to make a video, even if it is a small video. No, I'm back from Austin, Mike. I just arrived home about an hour ago. So anyhow, you have that to look forward to. The other question that I wanted to put out there, I did a walking video mostly on 6th Street, and I posted it. And I've been under the weather, so my head's been a little bit of a brain fog. But I posted it, and I realized I have a lot more footage that was supposed to go on that video. So here's my question to you. And I know there's not too many in the room right now, but you can give me your feedback anyways. What do you think? There's two ways I can go, because I cannot just add footage onto that. Um, YouTube doesn't allow that. YouTube only allows you to either cut pieces out, um, and that's about it. So I could actually make an amended version where I take what I have and then keep going the way I intended it to be, and then post that, which is kind of weird, because if someone sees that and they start watching it, they're going to think they saw it already. Or I could take the other one down and put this one up. I hate to do that, because pulling down videos is not good for a channel. So what do you guys think? I think I should just continue editing, assuming I still have that footage. Usually when I'm done editing, I delete everything. So, excuse me. So anyway, I'm thinking of just making a version 2, that and put it up there. And if you want to watch it, you want to watch it. If not, no harm done. You got a bonus video up there. I think that's what I'm going to do. The other thing we did, well, that's what I'm thinking of doing, Lisa, just make another one. So the other thing I did for the first time, there have been 83 views of the original, so I didn't think you should take it down. Well, thank you for knowing that, because I didn't know that. Yeah, why take it down if it's got to start on views already? We'll just say bigger, better, revised, right? For the first time in my life, I went to an escape room. I not only did it once, but we came back 2 days later and did it a second time. I really enjoyed it. Hey, Steve, has anybody ever done one of those escape rooms? They were really very cool. And I didn't know what to expect, but it's a puzzle. And you go in the room and you're locked in, or theoretically you're locked in. I don't think you're really locked in. Um, the themes I did. The question for those of you who are watching later was what themes did I do? The theme was the first one was Gold Rush theme, and so I guess it was supposed to be like you're a minor 49er. And the other was a time travel theme, and they were pretty well done. I'll give you, for those of you who are completely unfamiliar, because I was, and I didn't know what to expect. And if someone had told me just a sliver about it, I think it would have been interesting. So, for example, you got to look everywhere, because you don't know what's a clue and what's just decoration. There was a little sign that had, I'm just going to pick things at random. Maybe it had an owl, a toad, and a blackbird, just the outline silhouette of them, just on the wall. Well, then we started noticing there were little figurines of owls and toads, and an owl up in the tree, and I found 3 little figurines of frogs or toads around the room. And then I thought, okay, so we know the number. Let's say that there are 3 frogs and 1 owl, and there's 4 birds. And now you look at this plaque, and now you know the order. Okay, so let's say there's 3, 1, 4. And now that ended up being the combination to a lock. So that's just one example. Then you unlock a box or open a door or something, and there's other clues and more clues. And at some point, you get enough of these clues and solve enough things or collect enough items, and it opens a door to another area. And it was quite fun because it started out in this particular one. You're sort of it's a room, of course, but it's set up to look like you're outside or outside of mine or something like that. And you went up some stairs, and then it looks like you were in, the old miner's cabin. And at some point, the fireplace opened up, and there was a slide, and you slid down, and then you're in the mine. So it was really, really neat. And the first game we played came down to the wire. They actually allow you to ask for clues, but who wants to do that? You don't want to cheat, right? And I know they say it's not cheating and you don't get penalized and that sort of thing, but we want to try to play it out. So got down to 3 minutes and we solved it. Then we did the time travel one, and that one was supposed to be equally hard, or maybe one level higher. And we pounded that one out. I think we had 23 minutes to spare. But I mean, don't worry, there is no late because you can always watch the beginning later. So both times it was just me and the two people that I was visiting. So it wasn't like we had other people in the room with us. So it was quite a lot of fun. I had a good time. Hey, and I'm doing okay. I've just got this cold, and I contemplated whether or not I wanted to even make have a live stream, but I didn't have one last week, and I thought, so I'll have a cough and a runny nose and sneezing, but we'll make it through, right? I mean, we're all human, and these things happen sometimes. They're not cheap. I think they're like 30 or $35 a person to do that for 1 hour or less entertainment. But nevertheless, I had a really good, enjoyable time. Then I did something I hadn't done in a while. I did so much fun stuff there. Um, I had went to an arcade, and I'll tell you, arcades have changed since I was a kid. I always liked pinball machines, and even the pinball machines today, I don't even know how to play them because they're doing all these things, and you know, I don't even understand how to gain points and stuff. In the old days, it was pretty easy. You know where to flip them. You know when it landed in the little hole, and it would pop out how many points that would be, and if you get something to spin. But now these things are so complicated. I almost don't believe anyone knows how to build up points or anything. I think it's just largely just guess, you know. But they had one fun thing there I really enjoyed doing. It was kind of pricey for an arcade because now you don't put money in anymore. It's just like at Vegas, you load it up on a card and then you just have at it till it's all gone. But it was a like a race car, and you put the three-dimensional 3D goggles on, and it had a headset, and you're driving. It was very, very cool. I now I know a lot of you are watching saying, that's old school, that's 10 years old, but I've never seen it. So um, I really enjoyed that. And what else did we do yesterday? I was so under the weather, and so we just went to something again. I had never ever. I got to get out in the world more because I'd never seen this. It was a gaming pub. I thought, what? What? It was a bar, a pub, and first of all, in the center was like a store, but all they sold were board games and card games. That was it. And then they have a library, just a wall of all these different games, most of which I had never even heard of. You could just go there, and I think for $5 or I think for $10 for an hour, you can play as many variety of games as you wanted, or you could just check one out for $5. And then you could just sit there in the bar. You wouldn't even have to order anything if you don't want to, and play a game. As it was, we ordered. I had myself a salad in keeping with my healthier lifestyle. And by the way, I wasn't totally healthy on this trip, but I did not gain a pound. So I'm still floating around that 27, 28 pounds down. I'm waiting to see. I had to be really fat if I could lose that much weight and nobody even notices, right? You can't even tell. But anyway, um, I wanted to stay on track. So it was pretty good that I didn't put on any weight in the time that I was there, even though I know I cheated quite a bit. So yeah, so we went to that gaming, and what else did I do while I was there? I don't know. It's a lot of stuff, but I sure enjoyed it. I mean, the highlights, of course, were going back to the Museum of the Weird because they did have the Frozen Man, which I remember seeing when I was a kid. I remember when I was 13, 14, 12, something like that, because I used to work as a lot of you know, I used to work in a lot of carnivals and sideshows, and I even worked for a short period of time with the Clyde Beatty Cole Brothers Circus. Clyde Beatty, he was the lion tamer, and I worked in that circus for a short period of time in my life. But and people sometimes wonder on this channel, why do you know things about magic and fire eating and about all these the old freak shows and all that stuff? It's because I lived it when I was a kid. So anyway, that was fun for me to see all those things because it kind of relived my life. I used to know a lot of those folks. Bob Melvin, the man with two faces. I remember him clearly when I was a kid. We used to visit a lot, and some of these people, P.T. Barnum and Chang and M. Bunker, the Siamese twins, are all represented in this museum. And they have a great big King Kong, and he's got his hands like this, and you can crawl inside there and get a picture like you are being held by King Kong. So, and that was a relatively inexpensive experience. It was 12 and a half bucks, I think, admission for adults, and worth every penny. That was just so much fun. If you ever get to Austin, you got to go see that Museum of the Weird. It's aptly named. It is really weird. At some point, that guy must have found a wax museum that was going out of business or something, because he has one big room dedicated to old movie monsters, and he has wax figures of every movie monster classic one that you can think of. Frankenstein's monster, Bela Lugosi's um, Dracula, and Wolfman, Lon Chaney Jr.'s Wolfman, and a lot of Lon Chaney Sr. stuff, Phantom of the Opera and Hunchback, and so many others, Dr. Jekyll. It was just wonderful to see. Excuse me. And the thing that I remember as a kid, though, was the frozen Iceman, primitive Iceman. I remember seeing that when I was a kid, and somehow this guy has it. And I know it was the same one. Um, how he got it and what happened with that over, I must have seen that, like I said, when I was 12 years old. So, God, we're going back 15 or 20 years now. But it was a long time, but I remember it vividly. So that was a lot of fun, and I just had a great time. It was so good to get back. I love those towns. I love San Antonio. I love Austin. They're both great cities and great towns, and it was nice to, do some visiting and to get away for a while. So there's still a few videos to come. And is Ryan in the room? I don't think Ryan's here right now. Was always bugging me. When are we going to see another room tour video? So you finally saw another room tour video. And I'll tell you something I'm a little disappointed in with um, Hampton Inns now. This one I was staying at, they still called it a Hampton Inn, but a lot of them are changing over to Hampton by Hilton. And they still have the free breakfast. One of the few places now, it's not an outstanding breakfast, but it's a free breakfast. They have fresh fruit, fresh fruit, and yes, Austin is the capital of Texas. and you can see the Capitol right from 6th Street, in fact. So anyway, back to the Hampton Inn breakfast. Typical is they'll have oatmeal, they have fresh fruit, they have dry cereal with milk. They'll usually have an egg dish, a real cheap omelet, but I guess it's really a stretch to call it an omelet. And usually they'll have sausage patties or bacon or something like that, and yogurt. Yeah, they'll have some muffins and bagels, and it's free, but it's not bad. But I don't know if this is what's happening system wide or just the one I was staying at. They only had housekeeping every other day. Now, I know during the pandemic, they made it voluntary. And what they did is they gave you points in exchange. You said, yeah, I can do without uh, the housekeeping. And they would give you Hilton Honors points. I like that because one guy, and they start with 3 towels and, three sets of everything. I can make it through 3 to 5 days if I have three brand new towels. And a lot of times, if you needed a towel to exchange, you could go to the desk, even if you're getting the bonus points, and still, um, get a fresh towel. So, but this time they said only every other day, so that's cutting back. And then they didn't even do it, and I had to call them and say, hey, I thought I was supposed to get my service today, and that happened twice. I think if I hadn't called, I don't think I would have had any housekeeping the entire 5 days. But I don't really need it. I can make my own bed. It's the towels that I want, right? You want your towels changed. So that was that. And I did a little video today as I was, through the airport, my journey home. So probably you'll be looking forward to see an airport video. However, in 3 short days, I am going to be heading out again. And this is going to be a whirlwind trip. I've been warning you about it. Warning, is that the right word? Um, but I'm going to take a few short days and I'm going to head up to Orlando. I'm probably not going to go into a park this time, but um, I'm probably going to spend some time at Disney Springs and some of the Disney monorail hotels. I know one day what I'm going to do is see if I can use as many I think this will be a fun video. I want to see if I can use as many forms of Disney free transportation without buying a ticket or a pass. And I want to see how many boats, monorails, buses. I'm so sorry. And I just want to see how many different modes of transportation I can use of Disney's and how many things I can get to without paying one red cent. I think it'll be a fun video. I don't know about you guys, but I think that's one of the things I'm going to do when I'm up there. So I think I'll be leaving this Thursday and returning on Sunday. So I'll be staying Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. So it's only 3 nights. I guess you could call 4 days, but Thursday I'll be getting up there late. So and Sunday I'll be leaving early. So it won't be that many days. However, that's my next planned trip. I'm still I haven't put the idea out of my mind yet of taking that train. I would love to take Amtrak from Florida up to Wisconsin. Go the whole state from South Florida to as high up as I can get in Wisconsin, and which is probably going to be not much further than Milwaukee. But I think that would be. Oh, Lisa, thank you. That is so kind of you. I do appreciate that. Thank you so much. But that is my goal. Who looks after the cats? Actually, I found someone in my community that is a cat sitter. I had someone lined up, and then I had to change my dates, and then she couldn't make it, the original cat sitter. And so I got a new one, and she did a really nice job with the cats. And the nice thing that I do is I have an electronic keypad so rather than have to give someone a key, I key in a number that they want. And that way only they and I know that entry code. And then as soon as I'm back from vacation, I can erase it. And I like that so much better than giving someone my key. Not that I don't trust people. but you just never know. So I do like that. And the cats were happy, and they were uh, well fed. There was still some food in their dish when I got home, so I know that they got fed today. Their water was nice and clean and fresh. And the litter box looked good, so um, they were well cared for. This is the first time I used this sitter, and she did a really nice job. Of course, I paid her twice what she asked. She said to me, "Well, I'll take $5 a visit." I said, $5? No, you'll take more than that. $5 a visit. That's hardly what driving over. So she would visit 2 times a day for 5 days. That'd only be $50. So I gave her $100. Is that wrong? I mean, is it okay? Um, I think it's worth it. I think they're looking after a family member, a loved one, and I think she was way underpricing herself. So I, I I paid her double her asking price, and hopefully she'll be happy and she'll want to come back, right? So anyway, that's who looked after the cats, and yeah, dog walker costs $20 a day, so she basically got $20 a day to make 2 visits, which I think is more than reasonable to me anyway. I think $10 a day, I would have been ripping her off. Now I know she does that for other people. I don't care. I want to look at what I think is fair for me. So um, some people would say, "Well, you're crazy. Why would you pay more than you have to?" It's just the way I am. You know. So anyway, that was my week in review. I have a few more videos I'm going to release from that week. And I know I've been doubling and tripling up, but if I don't put them out right away, I forget to do it. So you can look forward to anything that you guys can think of that maybe you want me to cover or I can look at. Let me know because I'm happy to do it. I do want to take a day trip, maybe one overnight. I want to drive to the Keys. I want to take the Corvette to the Keys and back. I want to get at least as far as Marathon or Largo. Going all the way to Key West is, first of all, it's not good this time of year because you'll never find a room. But I can get to one of the Keys, to the early part of the Keys, probably 5.5 hours. So if I just made a day trip and went there and had lunch and drove there, had lunch, and came back, I could make it like a 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. type of thing and do it all in one day and do a marathon to the Keys and back. It might be fun. It might be too much, might be too challenging. Maybe I could stop in Homestead or something for the night and then start back the next day. I don't know. But that's something I'm going to think about. And of course, we still have a lot of museums, right? Um, Now, my friend Bill can't be at all of them, but we still have a lot of museums that we're going to have to tour. So I have a lot down the pipeline. But if there's anything that sounds interesting to you, let me know. We've got been filling the channel plenty well without Thirsty Thursdays. So yeah, we'll try it. All right, I think I'm going to wrap things up because I'm just too far under the weather. I feel very embarrassed doing all this coughing and sniffling and all, and I'm doing a disservice to all of you, the viewers, in the process. So thank you for joining me. You know that I say this all the time, but I really do mean it from the heart. I appreciate so much all of you being here. I know that you can be looking at other things and doing other things and watching other channels, and it really warms my heart to know that you are here spending a little of your time with me. And so, there was something I wanted to show you. Oh no, I for I bought. Oh, I can't tell you. I gotta wait till next week's live stream. Darn it! I picked something up that is going to be so fun, and I forgot to bring it here because I was so intent on showing you the tiki mug that I forgot to bring the other thing that I brought back. I'll give you a hint. I got it at the Museum of the Weird, is hint number one. Hint number two, it's going to be a callback to something I used to do a lot in the live streams when I was back in Wisconsin on the other channel. It's a gadget, a device. So that's a really big hint for those of you who are around back then. It's different than that gadget or device that I used to have on a lot, and it has something to do with the Museum of the Weird, but it'll be fun nevertheless. And it's something that we will have fun with on and on and on during our live streams. And doggone it, I didn't have it today, but it gives us something to look forward to next week. So with that, thanks again. I appreciate you all being here, and I'll see you here again next week, Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a great week, everybody, and my love goes out to all of you.